Can you actually do something to become taller? Or is it all determined by your parents and genetics?
Is height genetic?
Good question.
I think it is, right?
I'm a descendant of giants, with a grandfather, dad, 2 uncles, and an aunt all towering over 6 feet tall. At 6'3", I turned out to be the short one in the family.
Oh.
Now that I have a son myself, I'm wondering if he's gonna be tall too.
Made this whole video just so he can tell us he's 6'3".
Yes.
He's a very tall man.
Is height only written in our genes? Or is there something else that determines how tall we get? These days, the average American woman is about 5'4", while the average Joe American male is about 5'9".
I am so average then.
You are average.
I am the most average guy
Literally
everywhere.
every body part is average.
Human height has had its ups and downs over the centuries. 3 million years ago, our ancestor Australopithecus only stood about 4 feet tall.
They were walking a bit like this, right?
Yeah, so that doesn't get like
they-
not sure if it's measured all the way.
I think they measure it all the way. Probably the skeleton, yeah.
1.5 million years later, Homo erectus, the first early human to use complex tools, reached up to 5'7". And by the Stone Age, men of the Gravettian hunter-gatherer culture in Europe stood an average of 6 feet.
We got smaller.
Okay, so what happened through the years is that we become taller, and then we were very tall, and now we're less tall.
It was talking about Europeans. I'm not sure it was United States as well, but I don't think there were people in the United States back then.
Most of the historical data we have is for male height because reasons. Then agriculture happened. When Europeans switched to a lower protein, higher grain diet, men gradually lost 8 inches in height on average. And they stayed that way for thousands of years.
I didn't know this.
By the time the 18th century rolled around, the average European man was only 5'5" tall. But when those Europeans emigrated to America, their kids grew up to be 5'8" tall on average.
Their kids, as in like one generation? That 100% then has to do with insufficient amount of food during puberty.
During the Industrial Revolution, heights took a dip due to urban crowding and disease.
That had to do with the really bad circumstances and air quality, food quality.
Soon after, the human height boom continued and continues today. Every decade for the past couple centuries, Europeans have grown an average about half an inch.
Netherlands!
The Netherlands! We are so tall! I am literally the Netherlands average. Sweden? They're like the Vikings.
But Vikings are small then.
Maybe that's why they look so muscular.
Yeah, short muscle belly.
Today, Dutchmen are the tallest people in the world with an average height of just over 6 feet.
I'm small here.
Actually, fun fact, I'm 6 feet and I'm considered average height maybe in the Netherlands.
And I'm below average. It sucks.
But in the US, you're average, maybe even above average.
Yeah, exactly.
These fluctuations of height, sometimes within a single generation, show that our environment determines a big part of how tall we are. But people in different regions and different families show us that height has genetic causes too. So which has a bigger role, nature or nurture?
The good old question.
So he's talking about nature, your genetics, basically what your parents are giving you, is that how tall you can become, versus your environment, diet, air quality, where you're living. If you want to become taller, you want the answer to be the right one.
In the early 19th century, scientists first noticed a correlation between people's heights and their wealth. People from poor backgrounds tended to be shorter than people who were more well off.
And that makes sense, because then the body, of course, doesn't have the right stuff to actually grow. Like, if you're deficient in food or like
calories,
the air quality, everything, more stressed as well, like your body's more stressed, then you have less energy to grow.
Many scholars at the time decided tallness was a physical mark of superior humans. He precisely measured the height of thousands of people as part of a sort of scientific sideshow. But Galton's results were confusing. Parents' heights often didn't predict the heights of their kids. The heights of siblings, on the other hand, were much closer. This inspired scientists to look at height in twins.
We also want twins for our videos. Like,
If you're
a twin, message us.
you will get the workout app for free, and we will try to get you as fit as possible, both of you, and see who makes the most gains and why.
I don't need genetics. I already know that being 5'4" as an adult male means suffering.
Depends. If you're a calisthenics athlete or gymnast, then you're in a good place.
It's super easy for me to say, but you gotta accept your height and use it the best you can. Use those advantages. Like for me, that would be, I could probably be stronger at bodyweight movements, calisthenics, but also I would look bigger on photos.
Fraternal twins can be as different genetically as any other pair of siblings, with the added advantage of being exactly the same age. Identical twins are genetically, well, identical, and twins separated at birth offer a window into what happens when genetically identical individuals grow up in very different environments.
That was actually an illegal secret research in the US. They split up twins or triplets on purpose to answer the question once and for all, nurture or nature. All were brought up in different homes. They all seem to be kind of the same.
No way.
They never finished the study, of course, and it's awful. If someone would have to write a conclusion, it would have been,
Genetics is the big thing.
yeah.
In 2007, scientists compared height and DNA between more than 11,000 pairs of siblings and found that across humans, 86% of height's variation can be explained by genetics. As traits go, this is very high. For comparison, genetics only explains about 26% of left-handedness.
I think height all depends on how tall you are. Best call.
Great comment, yes. He's not wrong.
So we should be able to predict a person's height from his or her DNA, right? Well, not so fast. We know genes make a huge difference, just not which genes. So far, scientists have identified about 800 genes that influence height, but many of them only make a tiny contribution.
Something that I realize now is that it's basically an equation. Your genetics tell you a maximum amount of height that you can reach. To get to that maximum height, you can make your environment the best, your nutrition the best.
Optimize everything.
Everything. But then still there's a roof.
Perhaps genetics determines how tall you can grow, where environment decides if you can reach your cap. That's exactly what you were saying. It's like sort of the limit.
Can you reach the cap?
The 800 height genes we know of can only explain 27% of how height varies between people. There's clearly lots of genetic influence we don't understand. Our environment, defined by health and diet, certainly has a hand in shaping our height. South Koreans today are more than an inch taller than North Koreans, despite minimal genetic differences.
Clearly, make sure to get the right nutrition in. Looking at this video, high protein, and probably enough carbs as well, just enough energy to grow. The perfect 5-minute posture routine to increase your height.
Do we do exercises to make ourselves taller? Yes, but anything we do will only reveal our natural height.
Luckily, I really like this guy, so I thought he was about to claim that we can get taller by exercising, which no, but he's talking about proper posture so you can actually reveal the full height. So the majority of videos that you will find online about how to increase height will be about your posture, and otherwise they're lying. If you feel like your posture could use some improvement, then definitely check out videos like this.
I do have to say I have an opinion about these posture routines. Because if you sit like 6-7 hours a day, you're not gonna undo that by just 5 minutes of exercise. Actually, what the exercises are doing is making you more aware of having good posture. Imagine there's a string going from your body, entire body, just up, pulling like this, and then you have better posture.
Well, actually, there is one secret method that will make you taller.
Have you ever had a chiropractic adjustment? What's that? It's a procedure where a guy who couldn't get into medical school tries to rip your head off. Let's do it! Okay, I'll give it a shot. But this type of thing is usually done in strip malls next to a Little Caesars. Holy crap!
So, whoa! You feel taller?
Ooh, I feel something.
But conclusion is kind of sad for some maybe. Can you really do something about your height? The science is unsure, and if you're already fully grown, no.
No.
But what we can see is environment.
And diet. Like if you have a very poor diet, not enough protein, not enough nutrients, then you actually get less tall.
Also, make sure to check out the original videos in the description below.
In the last video, we talked about is being fat a choice.
And actually, Jubilee put fit guys and fat guys in the same room and talked about this topic. If you want to see more about that, it was kind of intense. Make sure to click here. Subscribe to this link and hit the bell, and we'll see you in the next episode.